Welcome to another interview. I'm really enjoying these interviews and having the opportunity to illumine and shine the loving light of awareness on the beautiful and amazing Jackie King. Jackie brings us this whole body approach to wellness where she brings all of herself to the party, but in her whole being approach is really you. She takes all of you into consideration when she works with healing or helping you in any way, shape, or form. Her approach works to release stagnant energies that block your outcomes, to allow you abundance in all areas of life, whether you're looking to lose weight, managing pain, achieving greater health and well-being, career success, or healthy relationships. She's got you covered. And that's what I love most about her. I'm going to let Jackie do a little in-depth bio of what she does and how she brings that forward. And then we're going to dive in to connecting with spirituality and how her gifts and talents let her do that in the real world, in the physical world.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here on this interview and talking about such an important topic of helping people heal their body and balance their soul, basically. So I have approximately 20 years as an alternative healthcare practitioner. Started as a massage therapist. And just progressed from there. Very interested along the way in energy healing, essential oils, Tibetan bowls, all of those things that help people heal at the cellular level and bridging that gap into the subconscious where true healing can begin. Many, many hours of continuing education under my belt because I'm always intrigued by the various offerings that are available. And I continue to learn, continue to educate myself to help my clients get to that deeper level of healing their body. As I said, I have many various modalities that I utilize for my clients, and I listen to what they say. Most times people come to me with a pain disturbance in their body. Many times that is also associated with some kind of emotional trauma that has occurred in their life. It could have been yesterday, it could have been 25 years ago, and now it's manifesting as some kind of chronic pain issue. But the tools that I use can help release that negative energy that is bothering them at that deep level.
Can we pause for just a moment and help the listener gain a little greater understanding from our level of awareness as to what we see that healing or even the pain as? For me, I kind of go back to Nikola Tesla and Albert Einstein when they started talking about energy. And I have to shift my thoughts to energy to really understand the healing, because everything is just energy. We are just energy. And if we take a microscope down to the atom level, at a cellular level, everything is just energy vibrating and moving and harmonizing itself with an intelligence system within us that knows what to do, but somehow it knowing what to do got out of alignment at some way, place, shape, or form in our energy fields.
That's correct.
So not knowing what got out of alignment, where it got out of alignment, or how it got out of alignment, we have the ability to shift and bring these energies back into alignment within us, to integrate them so that they aren't so highly charged. I feel like when an energy keeps revisiting us, it triggers us or comes back again for a revisit. It's because it's charged at such a high state, either that we haven't fully processed it and released it, done the work needed to let it go, or that it was meant for us to integrate at a later point in time through an energy healer, through revisiting it, whatever that means for us. So the work you do is actually helping individuals tap into energies that they're unconscious of, first and foremost.
That is correct.
And oftentimes they might even know there's something there, but not know exactly what it is.
That's correct. Most of the time, the majority of the people don't have a strong awareness of what's going on in their body. A few people do,
Right.
not very many. But I mean, it could be, a trauma that occurred in second grade when somebody wasn't picked for a kickball team.
Yeah.
And it was hurt, it was depression, who knows what it was, but those negative energies get stuck in the body and they resonate with specific organs or glands, and over the course of time, they bring the overall energy to an imbalanced state, and then causing pain or discomfort. Many times it's a physical pain, many other times it's an emotional pain, and not being picked for a kickball team in second grade. Well, then that causes you to think going forward, well, I'm not good enough. So it's going to cause you to always second guess yourself.
Yeah.
And have that lack of confidence that you need to go forward.
So my son shared with me that in second grade, the music teacher told him not to sing. And he's never forgotten that. And
I'm sure.
as an adult, it keeps revisiting him when he's stepping outside his comfort zone to speak something, to validate who he is or what he believes in. And I feel like oftentimes that message was like so not even what we think it meant, right?
Right.
Right, that music teacher asking him not to talk, maybe she had enough baritone sound in the room that she wanted to hear just for a moment without his.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
It could have been anything, but how he interpreted it and how he gave message or meaning to it at that young age was unskillful, first of all. Like, you don't have the skills to compartmentalize and understand those things. So chances are it got stored improperly.
Right.
And now it's not serving him in his own personal growth and journey.
Correct.
Okay. So you then could help him by doing energy work. And I want you to help the audience better understand, because for someone who's guided to do energy work, they just know they want you. They don't even need to know what it does. And they are glad that you tell them and that you share with them. But for those that don't know how powerful energy work is and can be, how would you explain what you do?
Since we're all energetic beings, everything is energy. We all vibrate at a specific frequency. Okay. I believe it's like 65 to 72 megahertz. So when our frequency starts dipping below that range, then we start seeing signs and symptoms of some kind of illness, some kind of discomfort in the body. And this can be from some kind of trapped emotion. It could be from foods that we ate. It could be from hanging around with the wrong people, listening to the wrong music that's given us the wrong message. All of those things can lower our vibrational frequency. So all of those things do damage to our body. Okay, they do damage to our thoughts. They cause many, many problems, poor sleep, a whole host of problems. When we can start finding where those imbalances are, whether it's from trapped emotions, whether it's from heart walls, whether it's from the chakra system being imbalanced, when we can start introducing the proper frequencies and rebalancing things, then we start to see that people start functioning at a higher level. Okay, frequency rises, we start thinking clearly, we start sleeping better, the pain disappears, our relationships with our kids, our spouse, our significant other improve, even our relationship with ourselves, because we have a greater sense of self-love, right? Because one of the biggest complaints I have seen is that people have such a lack of self-love. So,
Mm. I'm
yeah,
glad you brought that up because in my book, Bringing Spirituality into Business, it's really a guide to know yourself, grow yourself, to
right.
live life empowered. And the greatest growth that you're going to do is having an intimate relationship with you.
Correct.
Love, full on, and everything your parents weren't in your childhood, you get to be for you. Everything your teachers weren't, everything your friends weren't, everything that others couldn't give you, but you needed or you claim you needed,
Right.
you get to give to you. You
Correct.
get to be the parent that starts to parent you, love you, and support you along this journey. And it really is a beautiful journey when we're in it to serve ourselves. And you're really serving your soul's journey here, right? Your soul is here to grow and increase and prosper, right? And you're just kind of getting out of the way, but you're really serving your soul to integrate those human aspects of you,
Correct.
right, into all
Correct.
that you are. I feel like it's just part of the process. Like there's nothing wrong with it. This is how it looks for everybody. Like you're not unique and different, but yet you are. Your story, your the people in your story, the timeline for you, that's all unique.
It is. And what a beautiful world it would be if everyone could love themselves the way that they are
Yeah.
right now, with the 10 extra pounds, with gray hair, with, glasses, whatever it is, it's okay. That's what makes us unique. That's what makes us special. But we're told too many mistruths.
And
you know.
we're guided to fit into what
Yes.
society calls normal. And
Yes.
I'm here to tell you there ain't no one normal you. Like,
There's not.
yeah, and if you're striving to fit in to someone else's trajectory of what you should look like, you automatically need to stop and reevaluate
Well,
what you're
there's
stepping.
no there's never going to be happiness,
No,
essentially.
right.
So,
Well, and maybe that was the real aim. I don't know, but I don't believe that we thought um, the picture we were crafting looked a certain way. I think we thought educating society was a gift, right? Let's teach them to read. Let's teach them how to do math and function and exchange money in the world, right? let's teach them history. I felt like these were good themes in the beginning, but we lacked in our learning. And the biggest thing we lacked in was that inner reflection. So you
Yeah.
already mentioned self-love, self-worth is lacking in our
Yes.
communities.
Yes, it is.
And I feel like it's lacking because we've gone through what we call the Industrial Revolution, where our focus was outside of us in growing things in the material world, right? Building, growing, structuring, developing. And we just continually kept putting our focus outside us. And that took us away from all that we are, that inner, because the world you live in is first created inside you, as within,
True.
so without.
Right.
When you said earlier, the balanced soul, you want to
Mhm.
balance your, right? Like, I want to allow us to dive into this just a little deeper, because this really is your magic, right? That when you work with people, um, it's body, mind, and spirit. Your
Yes,
your your work isn't just in the physical,
that's correct.
right? So a lot of times we push away, or we shun from what we don't know. And you know, we can't bottle up love or really even explain it or package it up and sell it, right? But we can't deny knowing what it feels like.
And the body is so interconnected. Mind, body, and spirit are all interconnected. It's just, and I'm going to say Western medicine that has kind of segregated everything. I worked in that arena for many years. So I kind of know how it goes. But the body in that realm, everything is always segregated into categories. But you cannot affect one without affecting everything else. So interconnected, and you're talking, you can't bottle up love. However, look at someone who has just lost the love of their life and see what happens to them physically, emotionally, and spiritually. It does affect everything.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Well, and same with the mother who just gave birth to a new child, right?
right,
To me, that love, that expansion of bringing a new life into this world
correct.
is some unconditional love that just pours forth. There's no denying it. Like you see it, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And it's said even a pregnant mother has a glow about her, like, right? Like that love is just being 10x'd, right?
you,
It's
you
real.
can feel that too. I feel that when I pick my granddaughter up and
Yes.
she hugs me. I can feel her energy and her love. It's there.
Yeah.
So physical, emotional, spiritual. Yeah, definitely.
We're here to really connect with all of these intelligence systems, and we work better when they're all working in alignment.
Correct.
So when you let's say we talk for a moment about um, I think what people may have heard it mentioned as is EC,
Emotion code,
yeah, or EB maybe, the full body.
body code. Yeah,
Um, and the reason I say that is because I don't know that either of these modalities are commonplace in businesses or in um, health sessions. The practitioner.
I I don't think that they are, and of course, living in Missouri in the Midwest, we're always questioning things, and I guess that's okay.
Yeah.
I ask a lot of questions too. Um, I know that energy work is very common on the coasts, and that's fine. But we're starting to see more and more energy healers, emotion code practitioners. I'm emotion code and body code certified. So I can dive a little bit deeper into finding specific imbalances that are in the body. Okay. And listening to client complaints, and then kind of figure out from there what the subconscious says, this is what we need to address right now. So,
And there really is a spiritual connection to different organs, to different parts of the body, just like reflexology,
absolutely.
nerves in your foot and your hand, right? They affect parts of our body. So do thoughts. In 2007, I was heavily invested in the stock market, and I watched Crocs report earnings in that equity tank after hours. $25 down in just minutes, right?
Oh boy.
And the fear, the storytelling that went into me immediately was, oh my God, like it caused me to take a bigger look at the whole picture. I could see then from my detached perspective, the whole market is starting to roll over. This is late 2007.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
The whole market, the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, all the indexes are starting to roll over. I crafted a story and started telling everybody and their brother, if you're heavily invested in the stock market, go to cash. Go to cash.
Right.
If your position's going through these next chapters, go to cash. And then I sat there like a deer in headlights.
I'm sure it's one of those unbelievable things.
And what does low back pain relate to? My
Right.
structure in my world was
Yeah.
collapsing. My
Yeah.
financial structure of support, my retirement was collapsing before my eyes.
Yeah.
So I went through the outward expression of the story I was living about the financial crisis.
Sure.
It was real. It was
Sure.
it was real. But my storytelling made it even more real for me.
Right. You had asked about spirituality being a part of organs and glands, and yes, it definitely is. And what I have found is that when I work with clients, either whatever modality we're we're using, emotion code, body code, singing bowls, whatever, what you find is that people always have a greater sense of self when they get up off my table or when we end a session, because they know that they have taken at least one step
Yeah.
into healing their body and balancing their soul, right? So it is, what I do is one piece of this big puzzle. It's one avenue to explore, but I've seen great results with it. And yes, the greater sense of self and awareness, and when I'm able to give them that positive feedback and say, hey, you did this, here's just a couple other things that you might want to try to help you on your journey. So it's wonderful.
I loved how you brought in, it didn't matter if it was emotion code or the singing bowls.
Right.
When we're talking about moving energy, it's a vibration.
Yes.
It's a resonance, a frequency that you're
Correct.
moving, and lo and behold, and unbeknownst to many people, is the fact, the truth, that frequency and sound really do matter and
Yes.
can shift energies in your body. In 2019, the National Institute for Health put a proclamation out there and said, we've just invested $20 billion to prove that sound and vibration can heal the brain. And I read that and I said, oh no, you're going to find out it heals the entire body,
Yes.
not
Yeah.
just the brain, but the body.
Right.
And it was like,
Yes.
it was like celebration. Yes, finally they're getting on board, right? So I love that you said it didn't matter if you were doing an emotion code
Right.
work with them or the bowls.
Right.
You were shifting frequencies and vibrations. But
That's
in
correct.
essence, what you're really doing is teaching them how they too can shift these energies and frequencies, right? Because I heard you just say you're always including and offering out, right? Like, I feel like everything Jackie has to offer you are just tools. They're not mandatory, they're not critical. They're options and they're tools that you can aid yourself with along the journey to either move more quickly through these energies, amplify the results you're getting, or gain more clarity more quickly. Take quantum leaps, right?
Right. Right.
So the real truth behind all of this is that stuck energy is like putting the brakes on
That's correct.
in your life. It's like having one hand on the throttle and one hand on the brakes.
Right. And how that stuck energy affects each individual, we don't know. It's unique for everybody.
So it could be affecting relationships. It
Oh
could
yeah.
be affecting your abundance, your career, your increase in prosperity in this
Right.
reality. It
Right.
could be affecting you in just one area of life,
Correct.
right?
That's correct.
But here's what I know for sure. Most of the time, whatever area of life it's affecting you, it rolls out, spills into all other areas.
Yes, it
For
does.
instance, if it's your health, my goodness, you've affected everything because without health, life pales in comparison.
That's correct. It's
Relationships, if you've got one sour relationship, you're on eggshells, how you speak, how you talk to, how you interact with others until you get this one up to snuff, right?
that's right.
So it
It's kind of
affects how
like
you
the
show up. And if you've got a poor relationship, of course you're aware of that in the workplace because you
right.
don't want it showing up here, right? So
Right.
it is affecting all these other areas of life.
Yep.
How, and I know this is really critical, letting people know that we're all affected, like it or not, we're all affected. It's part of being in a human experience. And there was no manual, no owner's manual given to us when we took these earth suits that said, you're going to need to step into your emotions. You're going to need to turn into energy and look at things from a physical perspective, but also an energetic stance to gain a greater. Nobody's telling us this,
No.
right? We've gone through our growth thinking there was one intelligence system, our IQ, and we were
Right.
here to grow it. We're here to test well on our IQ test, right? But in all reality, you're here to learn to balance all of you.
Right.
You don't just have an intelligence, an emotional intelligence system or an intellectual intelligence system. Your physical body is its own intelligence, and your
Right.
spiritual intelligence is another one. So we have an EQ, PQ, SQ, and when we turn into these intelligence systems, they do guide us to seeing where we're out of balance.
We just have to slow down a little bit and notice that, be more mindful of what's going on in our body and our mind.
Yeah, and then as we do, we don't even have to know exactly what we're called to see. So someone could reach out to you and say, I just know I've got some energetic blocks, right? And
Yep.
how do we know we've got energetic blocks? Reflect on your life, right? Look at your life and where you are right now. And are you where you want to be? Are you happy? Are you right? Because your current awareness is showing you where you're at,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Exactly. That's exactly true.
Yep. And I think what's helped people stay stuck longer is a myth that's out there that says life isn't about you being happy, or life isn't here to make you happy, or right, like I think a lot of people have given up on their desires and their own joy.
Going through life on autopilot,
Yeah.
just living one day just like the previous day. And it's very sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
we're
tell the listeners what your belief is of desire and how important it plays a role in guiding us and informing us.
I think that we're all put here for a reason. I think that we're not meant to live in lack. I think that we're all here. I don't think that we are put here to suffer in any kind of way. I think that we're all meant to be the best that we can be. Um, that's certainly something that I desire, to be the absolute best that I can be for myself and for my family. I mean, what good is it if I'm not taking care of this physical piece of me or the emotional piece of me? What good am I to myself or for others? So my desire is to help others come to that recollection, that same understanding that there's more to life than what we see right here.
Yeah. Yep. I think where we're headed, we're evolving. There's no denying that the planet
Correct.
and the people are experiencing the greatest evolution in my current lifetime.
There's a shift for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like the biggest shift in this is us tuning into more of our multidimensional aspects,
Yeah. Yeah.
and and we're becoming more aware of the subtle knowing going on
Yes.
beneath the scenes. And then for some of us, knowing that is like, how do we know how to listen to it? How do we know how to lean
Correct.
in? Right?
Right.
Because in my mind, you've got to start putting on experiments.
Yeah.
What does it look like to listen to this inner guidance? Right? And what does it mean to listen? Is it listen now or listen when I feel like it? Like I know when I was starting to listen to my intuition and build a
Hmm.
relationship with my intuition, I had to say yes. And I had to really commit to, okay, every time I hear its guidance, I need to act. I need to stop what I'm doing and do what it says.
Yeah.
And and
It's
it's
a little scary though sometimes.
it is scary, but to work on these skills in you, to work on building this relationship in you requires you do things different than you have. And you're
I
proving
agree.
yourself how important it is to strengthen this voice within you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
when it showed up for me, I just want to share with the listeners because to me, this is a big part of us struggling and growing within ourselves, right? We've got to remove the blocks to hearing inner guidance, but we also have to remove the emotions and the highly charged past traumatic events. And like I shared, that traumatic event doesn't have to really be traumatic to have a trauma causing response. The music teacher telling my son not to sing became the message he told himself of what that meant. So oftentimes your story is the self-sabotaging pain
Mm-hmm.
that you're trying to release. Your story, no one else's, no one gave it meaning but you. And the meaning you gave it was part of your journey, what you came here to move through and heal through, what your soul needed for its highest growth. And trusting all that becomes part of your journey now. It really does when you say yes to listening. But for me, it showed up with, wow, I got a picture of my middle son just like bebopping in his car, like really happy and just so alive. And I called him and I said, I got this vision of you just bouncing and bebopping in your city. He says, well, bebopping's your word. He says, but I'll tell you what, I can resonate with it because I'm so excited. And yet it's bittersweet. A lady I work with is retiring today. And I just stopped at her favorite bakery to buy her this baklava or whatever she loved, right? To bring to her for the retirement party. But he's also thinking in his mind how he can craft something that they stay connected, maybe lunch once a month or something, because he really
Right.
enjoys her. And he was in that energy of love and appreciation. What's bebopping mean? You're in the flow, right? You're in the flow, you're digging it, life's serving you up big time.
Right.
And you're
Right.
feeling it and you're leaning into it, saying
Yes.
yes. And he was so in tune. Another time it said to call my mom. And I saw that side of me, that human egoic personality, Donna Lee, that wanted to say, oh no, now's not a good time to call mom. She's doing this or that or the other, right? Like part of me really knew. Are you kidding me? What part of me knows better what my mom's doing than her? Like, what the shit, right?
Yeah.
And this was giving me the awareness to look at this part of me that I thought knew the answers and to catch it and say, no longer will I lean into letting you win.
Yeah.
And when I called my mom at 10 o'clock in the morning, she was like, oh, thank you. Thank you for calling me. I didn't want to call you because I thought it
Oh,
was the wrong time. And it was like, we're both playing that.
yeah. Right. Right.
The growth is for us, but until you lean into your own little experiment, you don't know how it's
Yes.
for you.
That's that's impactful. And there's a lot to that statement.
Yep.
Yeah. I
So
love it.
Jackie has the ability to move your energy from a remote location, not even in the same room with you, but she also has the ability to move your energy on it, whether it be on a massage table, a Reiki table. Um, so you work with many different modalities, from touch to non-touch,
Hmm.
but all of
Right.
it moves energy because we're working with frequency, and you even take frequency to a whole new level and bringing in sound bath and singing bowls and different harmonic sounds and frequencies to shift energy as well.
I love what I do, and I recognize the fact that everyone heals in their own way and in their own time.
Yeah, yeah. And I just want to send one last message out to all the listeners, wherever you are on your journey is perfect and divine. And it's specifically for you and your growth, right? We've just come out of COVID, and one thing that all the groups I uh, meet with are doing is the, I call it like the stoplight colors, red, yellow, green, and they're doing dots or circles in these stoplight colors. Red means I'm not comfortable hugging or touching at this point. So we put a dot on our name badge, and it's a red dot if we're not comfortable um, having human contact at this point. That means a handshake. That means a hug, right? You're yellow if maybe a handshake's okay, but you're not there to hug, right? And you're green if you're just a tree hugger by nature, and this whole virus thing is out there, right? Yeah. So,
That's
so
a great
yeah.
idea.
So whether you're red, yellow, or green in your current reality matters not, but where you're going does. And getting in touch with your soul, with your emotions, with your triggers is part of your healing. It's part of your future growth. Don't go through life with one hand on the throttle and one hand on the brake and never get to the destination you wanted to reach. Live into your dreams and your desires. And I feel like this is where I say, invest in you, because the real investment that you make in the world is in your inner growth, is in the beneath the scenes changes that no one in the outer world can really put their finger on what you changed, but they see the shift in you.
Beautiful.
I feel like when we do energy work, it's a gift that keeps on giving, because you've healed it for ancestral relations
Yes.
beyond you, behind you, your parents, your grandparents, but
Yes.
also future generations,
Yes.
forth your children, your grandchildren. And I feel as though when we start making these huge investments in ourselves to invest in our true growth and development, it doesn't include initials behind your name, but it does send the ripple effect out, both past and future,
Right.
to other generations.
Right. It does. It does. Definitely.
And that, to me, is the greatest gift of all. When we can give to our children and our grandchildren the healing of traumatic wounds that we've carried, or even that our grandparents have carried, right? Like some families just have a poverty chain strung through them that all stems from being unworthy, unloved.
It, generational traumas, curses are they are a real thing. And I've been able to help a few people with that in the course of time that I've been doing this work. And it is a very powerful tool to use. Releases all of those emotions, all of those curses from past and going forward. The curses that are meant to suppress people's health or just their success in life. And
Yeah.
lift the curse, boom.
It's funny. We use the word curse, and all it is words said with intention.
Right.
And
Right.
we use the word prayer as if, it's magic, but curse as if it's evil, right? Like,
Right.
and they're one and the same, right? Like it's just words spoken with intention. And when my grandfather heard that I was getting divorced, his literal thought was, oh my God, 3 little babies, who would have you? Like, who would take on that much responsibility? What man is big enough, bold enough to open his heart and life to not just
Right.
you, but your babes?
Right.
That's what he meant by who would have you, not
Yeah.
Not you're wicked, but that could be looked at as a curse, as my
Right.
grandfather putting a curse upon me, right? Not intentional, but based on his beliefs, right?
Yes.
Based on his ancestral beliefs of, oh my God, what a burden. You really needed to stick with the one you had because it's a hard task to ask any man, right, to take on a new woman and provide for
Right.
her. But then, you know, three little kids as well is another huge task.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So I love that you bring that forward and we can talk about it because whether the listener knows they've got something in their ancestry or they sense it a little bit but aren't quite sure of
Mhm.
what it is, it can all be moved,
Correct.
transitioned, transformed. And I
Correct.
just want people to know that there's no one here. There is literally not one human being on this planet that isn't deserving of their life of increase and prosperity.
That I completely agree with that.
Beautiful. So
Yeah.
Jackie's your girl. If you have energy to move, she can do it in various modalities. As you change and your modalities shift and change in your tools, you're called to look at different tools. She can assist you at different levels and stages along the way. And I'm one to say that along my way, my tools did change. And I was called to experience different modalities of energy work. And I also feel like it's taught me to really lean into and listen to what I'm called to to learn or use at this point in time, as we all should be. Um, we're all being guided, right? That higher self is speaking to us. The real question is, are you listening?
That's what I was just gonna say. We just have to listen.
Yeah. And and meditation does matter. I
Mhm.
ask this all the time. Does meditation really matter? I think you mentioned earlier that, all this work is like a layering, like each session does a little work and the next
Yes.
one comes and adds more work and more work and more work. I feel like that's what meditation does. It opens a portal and a pathway to hit a new frequency and
Right.
and you're allowing your brain to activate on beta to go into theta and delta, right?
Right.
Where you have a more harmonious and slower and receptive pattern that's open to seeing other things in its awareness as well. But as you start going there more often and frequent it builds upon it memory of getting back there more quickly, of also
Yep.
utilizing it in the spur of the moment. Let's just say, an accident happened and things blew up in front of your face. You would drop into a calm, centered
Yeah.
awareness that would aid you in the next steps for you to take, right?
Yes.
And I feel like that's the real gift is when you see it happening in real life and you go, oh my God, that had to be from my meditation because I seriously saw me and reacted, right? Like, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Beautiful. That was so beautiful. What would you like to leave the listeners with?
Oh my goodness. Be kind to yourself. Know that none of us are perfect. We're all on our own journey. Everybody has something that they're struggling with, but we're not meant to live in lack or in pain, discomfort of any kind. There are tools, techniques, tips out there that can be beneficial for you. You just need to look for them. People are willing to help you.
I love that. People are willing to help you, and we need to learn when to say yes to what the
Hmm.
universe is bringing and putting before us in our path. So I want to put something in your path as well, that if you're called to grow yourself, if you're called to learn more about who you are, what you came here to express in this life, pick up my book. And my gift to you is with love. Use it as a coupon code at the checkout for the Pay in Full book club. And join me in a 29-week journey with love to learn more about you and yourself and what you came here to contribute and to really live and embrace fully. Because whatever your gifts are, when you embrace them, when you harness them, when you tap into them fully, they light you up like a magnet and draw to you all that you need to fulfilling your purpose and your passion right here. It's as if you begin to get that energy in a harmonic pattern where it can
Mhm.
flow without the blockages. And once you get there, then you can spot blocks real quick. Once you get in alignment and knowing what flow feels like, then anytime you get out of alignment, you know quickly. How many of your clients call you out of the blue or text you out of the blue and say, I need a session? Like a quick out of the blue thing because something just showed up, right? Yep.
I just got an email this morning from somebody that I haven't seen for a while, pre-COVID. She's like, "Oh man, I need you. I was sitting here talking to my husband, and I just said to him, something's not right. I need to see Jackie."
Yep.
Okay. She's like, "I'm not sure what we need. Let's do this, and then we'll transition into this." Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So people can feel that uneasiness, that stagnation, something's just not right. So just recognizing it. Yeah.
Yeah. And tuning in and listening.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
one thing to notice it and ignore that
Yeah.
voice inside you that just said to do something. But if you're growing you, if you're really looking, if you're on this journey to know yourself, you owe it to yourself to tune in, listen to those words from that part of
Right.
you that's speaking, and don't diss it, don't dismiss it. If you're listening to the
Right.
end of this call right now, you're called to connect. Trust that, know that. And that's what this is all about. It's really about expanding your awareness to know yourself, grow yourself, so you can live that life empowered.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you.
We deserve it. You're
Yes.
welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much.